Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel, James13 Wicca, in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The decks and dice I'm using in the videos are listed below for this section, of course. And if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and let's go ahead and get into the one that you chose. Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Gemini? The whole? Okay, that is what it is. You're ending with the Sun card. That's nice. There's a lot of like, that's weird. There's a lot going on around this situation. Why is there so much conflict but things aren't moving? Four of Cups. People not in balance, because I got like the way that card, or that, what is this, 3, 6, and 19. People feel like they like what's going on, and they seem to want to keep you connected. There's a control issue. Something isn't right. They don't want you to change. They don't want you to move, is what I keep getting. But they also seem to understand that your energy is a constantly moving energy. And it's like you have so many possibilities. I feel like this energy is not able to control you. And I think they realize that. Like, your mind is very strong. And it's almost like they might want to think that they have control, but when push comes to shove, you're going to do what you want to do. Especially because possibilities are coming your way. They seem to see that possibilities are coming your way, and they want to keep control of you. But with possibilities showing up for you, in your court, for you to make a decision, they don't know what you're going to do, and it makes them very unhappy. Maybe this is an energy that used to have control of you, or felt like they had control of you. Maybe it's more felt like they had control of you. Maybe you played nice for a while. Nice. You played the way they wanted you to play for a while. Let's do that. You let them think what they wanted to think. But I think the proof is in the pudding. When push comes to shove, you find doors. You find windows. You find registers to get out. You go, if you have to go through the ductwork, you'll go through the ductwork. Whatever you got to do. You'll create an opening if you need to. Gemini is the master of finding all the different angles. You know what I mean? You find the way to make it happen. I keep seeing this energy as a past energy. Do you know that energy is a past energy? That's a good question. Because possibility is coming for you, and I'm thinking you do, but... I feel like I'm looking at the past, and I'm like, there's a lot here that never made sense, that never really was real. And maybe I did buy into certain pieces of it, and I'm like, that was never actually how that was going to go. I feel like people told me a lot of... people lied. And I feel like in the beginning, maybe I wanted to believe certain things, and when push came to shove, I'm like, oh, those were just lies. And I feel like that's what I'm looking back at. I'm like, well, those were just lies. They were just flat out lies. And based on that energy, I don't trust this anymore. And I'm putting the energy in my court. I am making different decisions. I feel like I've already made up my mind that I'm making changes, but it's because I need to. I need to create a situation where I feel safe and stable, And I can't do anything with lies. There was another, I don't know who else I did a reading for today with the channel reads, but there was another one. There was a lot of lies. And it's just like I can't build anything with it. I can't build anything with lies. And I don't remember. I think it was one of the earth signs. And once I realized that that's all we have here, I'm like, I can't create possibility from something that doesn't exist. So it's very stressful, but at the same time, very freeing to know that I can't keep doing this the way it's been going. And that's why the Ace of Wands is here. A change, if this reading is hitting, it's like I've already made up my mind that I need to change what's going on here. And I can't keep doing things with lies. The Lover's card reverse is telling me I'm not happy, but I've made up my mind that I need to make a change. And for example, if it's a job situation, which it could be, doesn't have to be, it's a general read. I have stability, I have responsibilities, I need a paycheck, probably that piece. So I can't just be like, I'm done and I'm not showing up anymore. I kind of have to make a smart decision, and I have to line things up correctly so I can pay for my life and pay for the bills I need to pay for. So it could be something like that. If it's a family situation where maybe I'm going to leave the living situation I'm a part of, it's kind of like, well, I need somewhere else to go. I can't just be like, well, I'm just not going to show up at home anymore and I'm just going to live in my car. It's a possibility, but I'm not looking to do that. But I know that I'm making a change. I need to make a change. And this was coming in kind of saying, you might not realize the allies you have out there, but you do have allies out there who will help you. I feel like this is an ally card for the way this is kind of showing up. King of Cups. Is that the King of Cups? And the Five of Cups reversed. There's an ally here that may not be completely compatible with you, but somebody who will help you. I think that's the point. Not completely compatible, but still helpful. Maybe don't see things the way you see things, but it's kind of like, but there's positive energy from them towards you. They may be like, no, you should do it this way, Gemini. Well, that's not what I was looking for, but thank you. It's kind of like, all right, they're positive. They will help you. Just be careful how you connect to it, because they have their own ideas about what you should do. They care, but it's kind of like, just be aware that, like, you need to keep the control in your court. So maybe what you will and won't talk about, or keep things confusing. I think this is an asset for Gemini, but if you think I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments. You can talk to people, get your answers, and confuse them at the same time, so that they really don't know what you're doing. I've heard from Geminis, I should say, that sometimes they let the cat out of the bag and they talk about things they didn't need to talk about. But if you keep it kind of confusing, you can make it look like you could just confuse them and they don't realize what you actually said, or they won't connect to it that way. I think it's an asset. You decide whether you think it is or not. Do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Let me know in the comment. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Because the world is coming and you're going to make a change. The change is going to happen when the change needs to happen. I didn't realize that was ripping. So if I can get away with just changing that real fast. The world is coming in. Be careful not to overthink it. What do we mean by that? Be careful about that. Be careful not to overthink it, is what I keep getting. Because they're saying this could be a pitfall. Okay. You're going into a new phase. The way I'm seeing this, I don't see you stagnating. I don't see you getting stuck. I see you being very allured. That's not the right word. Lured in. Very lured in. It's very alluring, some situations, because there's a lot there. So they're giving me like a shopping analogy for whatever reason. It's almost like I could go and work at the mall and there's a lot of possibilities there. And it's very enticing. It's very come hither. Or I could work at this other store. It's a big store, but it's by itself. And it's like, if I work at this store, there's all these departments, but it's always the same store. And the analogy, like if I was going in a work section, a work sense, maybe the mall has a lot of stores, but maybe they're all minimum wage jobs. If I go to this bigger company, there might be bigger opportunities. There might be different opportunities for advancement. So it's kind of like I'm very drawn to the mall because there's so many options. But it seems like the store is the better option because it has a lot of stability and a lot more monetary growth there. Does that make sense? So it's like something I feel like is enticing me to go down this road of possibilities, which is very alluring to Gemini. Or there's kind of like, but the yin yang with the chariot is saying there's less possibilities at this other place, but it seems like there's more of what I want, or more there's more that can serve me there. You got to decide what's right for you. Just be careful. Be aware of being drawn into something with a lot of like, oh, there's so much I could find. There's so much I could research. There's so many questions to be answered. Versus like, there's stability. There's actually the goal I want over here. It's very like, it's pulling my energy. It's kind of like, oh, eh. You decide what's right for you, but they're just trying to give you a heads up, because sooner or later, for example, if you go the mall route, you'll categorize things enough and you'll be like, well, there's a lot of things here, but turns out there's really nothing that really takes me where I want to be here. You know what I mean? Instead of going that route and then going, oh crap, I went this way, and yeah, none of it was good enough, but there's a lot to see. Because you will go through the mall at some point. You will see everything in the mall at some point, and then you'll be like, oh, nothing here is really that good. Versus like you go into the other situation, you're like, all right, there's more to see here than I thought there was. It didn't look like there was this many possibilities until I got into it. Even though it's all one store, there's all these possibilities in this one store that I couldn't see from the outside. A lot happens at once. I keep looking at these two different directions. With one, you're getting stuck. And I feel like that's the more alluring one. With the other, there's a lot to have. There's a lot that'll move you forward, but that's the less alluring one. I feel like if this reading is hitting, it's knowing what, like if there's three base things, like what are your top three important things you need from a situation? And I feel like if you answer those three questions for each direction, or whatever, how many directions you have, because there's probably more than two. I know that. If you answer those top three, like what's most important if it was a work situation, how much money you make, how far away you have to drive, the people you got to work with. If those were the top three, if you have to decide what your top three are, obviously, which ones show best money? Which one's the further distance to go? Which one has better people, which one will I have the same people, I keep working with the same people? Which one will I have more interaction with more people with that can actually do something for me? I feel like that's the easier way to get through it. If I get my top three questions and I answer them for the most important selections, like I'm doing two, but you probably have more than two things. I feel like it'll be easier to get to where you need to go to find out where I can go further with. Because I feel like once I look, so like if it's a department store, for example, I'm looking at the mall and I'm like, oh, okay, I can have possibilities here, but it's one off by one off. This company, this company, this company, or this company at different companies at the same mall. If I go into this large department store, let me look at the website. Oh, wow. I didn't realize they hired for all these different things. I didn't realize they had all this. I didn't realize it was all this. So it's like, oh, I went into the website, I looked at the career tab, and I'm like, I had no idea. And look at all the different locations, and look at all the different places. If I keep going here and then I move somewhere else, I could keep moving forward by going to these different places. Okay. It's about like getting to the point where, you see yourself having that beautiful sun card outcome. You get where you actually want to be, and you don't get like suckered into something that like, oh, it looked really good at the time, but once I got there, it's like, oh no, it was a dead end. I searched down all these little things. I mean, you're Gemini, you'll search down all the things, but it's like I went to the mall and I feel like I got stuck in a dead-end job and now I have to find a way out of this, versus I went into this large department store and I didn't realize I could go all these different places, and now that I'm going all these different places, I'm very, very happy that I chose where I went. It's about being happy with your final outcome and not being enticed into a short-term, it's like it's candy versus substance. It's like, am I going to go for the sweet treat and get that jump in the beginning and then peter out and be like, oh, now I crashed? Or am I going to go into like, the meat and potatoes of something, which are still good, it's not as alluring as the candy? Am I going to go towards the meat and potatoes, and that way it can sustain me and I can get everything done I want and get everything I want out of the situation, so I can get the sun card outcome? That's the point. That's the point. I feel like for those of you this is hitting for, I feel like you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, and they're just trying to like, put it into focus, like, how this can happen. How something looks very alluring, looks very enticing, and then you get there and you're like, oh, well, it looked good at the time, versus kind of like, oh, I knew that was the better idea. I knew I should have done that, and I went towards the candy. It's kind of like, they're just kind of like, before you do that, they're just trying to help you stay in focus to actually get where you want to be, so you can have this great outcome, so you can be where you actually can flourish, and you can sustain what you actually want. That's what they're trying to help you get towards. All right. I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.